What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My laptop is making hella noise because it's old, so if anybody randomly wants to buy me a new laptop, let me know. But today we're going to be talking about Sincere by Mr. Khalid. Khalid is a underratedly big artist, I'd say. He's got over 54 million streamers on Spotify monthly, which I personally did not expect. And he's got 7 songs with over 1 billion streams on Spotify alone. So obviously blowing up with his Send Me Your Location song. Khalid has been in the game since 2017, dropping that first album, American Teen, which did have a lot of bangers on it, I must say. I actually very much enjoyed that album. With Sincere dropping, this does make it his 5th studio album. American Teen obviously first. Sun City, which is only 7 songs and 21 minutes, but he still listed it as an album. Free Spirit in 2019, Scenic Drive, The Tape, and then coming back with Sincere just this last week. Getting right into this, I'm always anticipating Khalid and his drops because I do like his music, I do like his voice, I do like obviously Location and all of these other big songs that he has. So I was excited, but I will say that off rip, this album was a little bit difficult to get through, for me anyway. There are some good songs, obviously. I think Broken is a pretty solid song. Who's There got to be pretty decent at the second half of the song. O2 is probably okay. Decline is also okay. But the rest of the album, I just didn't think it was too good. He does have one song with over 46 million streams already, Please Don't Fall in Love with Me. And that song is not for me. We can get right into the grades. Production, I gave it a 6. I think there's just a lot of it's just mushy production. There are a few moments, again, with a song like Broken, that felt like real R&B production, but otherwise, he's in this wave of like pop R&B and just radio R&B where it's just too many hi-hats and too sticky and there's nothing heavy hitting, there's no hard bass lines, there's no hard drum lines to really bring in a full R&B sound. It's just pop R&B, so I gave it a 6 because I just don't think that's the best that you could do. For vocals and lyrics, this is where the album shined the least, for me anyway. For vocals, I gave him a 2.5. I do think that he has a good voice, and I do think that he's a good artist again, but I just think he's chasing this vibrato R&B sound where he just never really fully sings, and he's always just chasing this like just chasing that shit all day long. And then on the other side of that, if it's not this vibrato R&B, he's chasing these high notes, and half of the album is high notes that just you can't hear anything that he's saying at all. There's no enunciation to his notes, there's no impact to his high notes. It's just like it just sounds like a bee just flying around. If you're just not paying attention, like it makes me mad. It's just hard to get through. I don't think his high notes are positive throughout this album, and I think it should be background vocals to his real vocals at the same time. It shouldn't just be throughout a track because it just does not sound good throughout, in my opinion. For lyrics, I gave it a 2.5. A song like It's All Good is just an example of just awful, super corny writing, in my opinion. I walked out the front door, you said you didn't want me anymore, you meant that, you said it with your chest, caught me on a bad day. They'll say I'll never get over the trauma, but there's certain things you just don't forget. I wish it could burn it all. Like, you're my biggest regret, but it's all good. Yeah, all these tears. It's just the most teenager shit song that I've ever heard. And there's just a lot of moments throughout the album where it's just stupid pop lyrics, and I didn't enjoy that whatsoever. So he got a 2.5 for both vocals and a 2.5 for lyrics as well. For cohesion, it does jump back up to a 7.5. Just the story of his life, it's not bad, it's not good. 7.5, middle of the road. The sounds at least are cohesive, so I gave him 7.5. But otherwise, it's just the album of music, which is fine. For originality, for sound originality, I did give it an 8.5. There weren't many moments where I could picture a different song or picture a different artist over it, but there was just a repetitive, again, pop R&B vibrato chasing sound that I just thought was used a little bit too much. For quality and care, I did give it an 8.5. It does feel like he does want people to listen to his music and listen to him as a solo artist. 16 songs, 52 minutes. It's a solid sample size. I can't really bash on that too much. So with a 6, a 2.5, 2.5, 7.5, 8.5, and 8.5, again, this brings him to a 71 overall. I think this is very, very fair. C minus. You're not feeling the class, but you're not a standout whatsoever. Off of the album, Adore You has 17 million streams, and Please Don't Fall in Love with Me Again with 46 million. He does have over 54 million streamers, so he is a big artist, but I just don't know if this album is something that you need to listen to. When I was listening to this album, again, it took me a couple tries to finish it front to back, but it made me think about where he is in his career and what kind of artist he needs to be. There were a few moments in the album where I felt like if this was a Omar Apollo song, it would have banged. And there was a couple moments on the album, more than a couple, where I felt like he just sounded like a more in tune Ty Dolla $ign, and I don't mean that in a good way. I don't know if Khalid needs to be a feature artist. I don't know if we need a whole album from him. If we look at his top 5 songs, 3 out of the top 5 are feature songs. The one with Billie Eilish, he's got one with Marshmello, with Halsey. And again, you can be good at music, you can be good at singing, but sometimes we just don't need you to be the main attraction. That doesn't mean you're not good. That doesn't mean you can't sing. It just means you're just not that guy. To the max, but that's okay. So it just feels like Khalid, to me, again, all opinion. Listening to this album, I don't know if I need him to be a feature artist, but a 71 overall. If you like Khalid, I'm sure you would like this album. If you like his sound of just that reverb R&B, pop R&B, go check it out. It is simple music. Like, there's nothing that's too difficult to intake. It's just not the best, in my opinion. Khalid, Sincere. I'll see you in the next one.